This is The Artificial Man by Clare Winger Harris, published in the 1929 issue of Science Wonder Quarterly magazine, narrated by ElevenLabs digital audio voice Anna Rita 2. The Artificial Man. 5 years passed. David Bell married Rosalind Nelson and built up a splendid reputation as a surgeon. Nothing had been heard in those years of George Gregory. His memory passed as an evil dream, and his name was never mentioned. Then one day, it was shortly after the erection of the new county hospital, David and a young intern by the name of Lucius Stevens were putting away the instruments after an operation, when they felt rather than heard the approach of an individual. Turning, they beheld the unfamiliar form of a stranger. He was a little under average height. A cap covered the upper portion of his face, and a long, loose overcoat concealed most of his figure. "What can we do for you, stranger?" asked Dr. Bell of the silent figure in the door. "Stranger!" exclaimed the hollow metallic voice that issued from somewhere beneath the visor of the cap. "I am no stranger, though possibly you do not recognize me. Do you remember your rival George Gregory, Doctor? David Bell? I am he." "You! It is impossible!" exclaimed the amazed doctor. "Gregory was a tall man, altogether different in appearance. You... Nevertheless, I tell you I am George Gregory, and I have come to settle old accounts with you. Clear out!" he shouted to the frightened Stevens. "My trouble is not with you." Lucius lost no time in following the stranger's suggestion. After his departure, the two men in the operating room faced each other for some moments in silence. "Before I have done with you," came the metallic tones again, "I will explain a few things that may puzzle you." Here he walked to the office door, locked it, and put the key into the overcoat pocket. "Now sit down, David Bell. Don't be in a hurry, for you are not going to leave this room alive. I promise you that, and I am accustomed to doing what I promise." Bell did as he was bade. The curiosity of his analytical mind was aroused, and he wished to find out more about this stranger, whose identity he could in no way associate with Gregory. Fascinated, he watched while the man removed his cap and overcoat, and then before David's startled gaze, the newcomer placed his right hand to his left shoulder, and with a slight manipulation removed the left arm, which he propped up in the chair nearest him. He then seated himself and proceeded to dismember himself until naught but a torso, head and one arm remained, all of which was scarred with countless incisions. A mirthless laugh jarred to the depths the doctor's overwrought nerves. The features of the intruder were not recognizable as those of his former friend Gregory. There was no nose, only 2 nostrils flat upon the surface of the face. The head was bald and earless, the mouth a toothless gap. A shudder of disgust went through David, and again the dry laugh of this monstrosity echoed through the room. "I'm not exactly pretty, eh? But I'm finding out what I wanted to know. After I left you 5 years ago, I went to a famous German surgeon and put my plea to him. He was as interested as I in the experiment, and you see the result. The operations required a period of 2 years in order to give nature a chance to have the body recuperate in the interim between experiments. As you see me now, I am without any parts except those absolutely essential to life. One exception to this, however, are my eyes. I did not yet wish to be shut off from the outer world by all of the senses. The artificial internal organs I dare not remove as I do my appendages, for they are necessary to my life. The crowning operation of all was a pump replacing my heart. This pump is a simple double-valve mechanism which circulates the small amount of blood required for my torso, head, and arm. Look here." As he spoke, he proceeded to reattach the artificial members. After he had again thus assumed semblance to human form, he called attention to something David had not noticed before, a flat object lying upon his chest. "This is the control board," he explained. "With the exception of the right arm, I now move my body by electricity. The batteries are concealed within a hollow below the hip of my right leg. Behold in me an artificial man who lives and breathes and has his being with a minimum of mortal flesh. My various parts can be mended and replaced as you would repair the parts of your automobile." During Gregory's recital, David had not withdrawn his fascinated but horrified eyes from the mechanical man. Invulnerable and almost immortal, this creature was existing as a menace to mankind, a self-made Frankenstein. When he was again complete, he stood before David, a triumphant gleam in the eyes which alone, unchanged physically, were yet scarcely recognizable as Gregory's, for the soul that peered through these windows was transformed. In the gathering gloom, Bell could see the automaton staring at him. He moved slowly toward a window, hoping to elude his antagonist by a sudden exit in that direction, but Gregory crept toward him with a clock-like precision in his movements. The doctor noticed that the right hand was kept busy, manipulating the control board at his chest. If this were the case, the interloper possessed only one free arm, but little had Bell reckoned on the prowess of that left arm. Like the grip of a vice, the metallic fingers clutched at his throat. One thought pervaded his mind: if he could get that right hand away from the control and damage the connections to the various appendages and organs. But he soon realized how futile were his weaponless hands against the invulnerable body of his adversary. Down, down, those relentless claws bore him. The darkness fell about him like a heavy curtain, a throbbing in his temples that sounded like a distant pounding, then oblivion,